anyone who might not be able to join us this evening, we can direct to this video so that everybody knows where we stand for the coming year and as far as what expectations are, etc. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, first of all, hey, hi everybody. It's been a minute since we've talked. My name's Matthew Wells, Communications Director here for the Red Cross Pacific Islands region. And what we're going to be doing today is the first of a series of meetings. They're going to be held quarterly. I'll get a little bit more into that, that just focus on the communications department. We have had some other attempts at this, and they've all kind of grown into something else entirely. But I did want to create a space that's just for this department so that we can all kind of brainstorm, ask questions, and keep up to date on communications specific things. So let's talk a little bit about tonight's agenda. First and foremost, this is set to go until 6 p.m. Hawaii time. However, I don't expect it to fully take that long. I know I'm a little long-winded, so hopefully I will finish up quickly and I can give you back some of your time. I just wanted to have this set aside so that we can go over a few basic things and then give everybody the opportunity if there are any questions, anything they would like clarifications on, etc. So here we go. What we're going to be talking about first and foremost is meeting cadence and purpose. Good grief. Yet another meeting. Why are you doing this to us? I promise you there's a reason. We'll talk about that. We'll get into a little bit of the who's who. Who are the people that you need to know to, or you need to know to go to, should there be any questions, if you have any problems, if you have any guidance that you would like, anything along those lines. We're going to start building up that crew. Next up is going to be roles and deliverables. We've talked a little bit about this before in emails and back and forths. However, I'm going to add to that this time. I'm going to be giving, like I said, a set of expectations as far as what we're going to attempt to do. And so we can start working on that. Then we're going to talk about getting gapped. And that is a training specific term that's going to help us set up and be prepared for disaster responses officially. Then we're going to talk about some upcoming campaigns, and then I'll leave some time for a question and answer at the end. Now, to get right into meeting cadence and purpose. This specific meeting, the all comms meeting, is going to be happening quarterly. So once every 3 months, we'll get together, we'll go over essentially what the upcoming campaigns are, what the current status of the department is, all that good stuff. We will be having these more frequently if something comes up that really calls for that. I don't think there is anything that should happen. Anything that might otherwise get in the way of that, say we have a response that needs to happen because of some form of disaster. If it's immediate, like the Lahaina fires were, well, then we'll already be in a response by the time we can do anything. If it's something that we have a little bit of leeway with, which might be a storm on the horizon, and do we have a couple of days of knowledge beforehand, we might hold court then just to make sure that everybody knows their role and how they can help out. There will be one other set of meetings, and this is going to be the monthly meetings that are going to be divvied up by role. I would love to do one-on-ones, and those are available at any time. However, simply to say that we're going to meet once a month doesn't really do a whole lot. It takes up a whole lot of time, and that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to take up your time. So what we're going to do is we'll break this thing down a little bit more by roles. So we'll get to all the writers together. We'll get all the digital volunteers together, etc., and we'll go over some brief points there. We're going to discuss department status, projects, needs, like I said, in the upcoming 3 months. If there are any wins or anything for future meetings, if there are any wins and things that we need to celebrate looking back on, we'll be doing that as well. This is also an opportunity to let you know about upcoming training and upcoming campaigns. And then every meeting will leave some time for questions and brainstorming sessions, because honestly, since we're all out there in the field, I want to be able to get as much information and feedback from you as possible so that we can improve how we go about doing any of our assignments. Okay, so next up, we are going to talk about the who's who, and right now, kind of sparse. You'll notice that. So it's me there, the comms director. I've got my information up there on the screen. If you ever need to reach out to me about anything, please by all means do so. I will try to send this PowerPoint presentation out as a PDF so that you at least have a look at all of these for notes, and you'll have all of this information at hand should you need it. Also, for those of you who haven't met Kyoka yet, she is our engagement lead. She's going to be my right hand on all of this. Hi. And she is very helpful when it comes to setting everything up. And essentially, if you need to reach out to somebody and you can't get a hold of me, or you just want to ask some really basic questions as far as, hey, what can I expect? Anything along those lines, Kyoka is going to be your first resource. She's awesome. She's been here for a while. She knows what's going on, and we are going to be expanding this team a little bit more. So thank you so much, Kyoka, for this. We also have two more positions that are going to come into play. First up is the recognition lead. Then we have the volunteer connection lead. Now, recognition, we'll get into what exactly these two positions mean, but if once we go over their job responsibilities, if this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, well, this is going to be your opportunity to step into not just an administrative role, but a leadership role. So those are the two key figures that we hope you know about, and we hope to find two more so that you have a bigger pool of talent to draw from still. Next up, we're going to take a look at some of these roles. Now, like I just mentioned, we have the recognition lead and the volunteer connection lead. So let's go through that. The recognition lead. Think of this person as the party planner. This is the person who can create icebreakers. They are good at brainstorming ideas on how to entertain and how to connect the communications department to the mission as a whole. So maybe it's, I think it would be really valuable if in one of our next quarterly meetings, we bring on, say, a member of the national team, someone who's trained up in being a national spokesperson. Well, great. I'll make sure that happens. This person is a host, essentially. I would love it if I could start handing over certain responsibilities to this person. And whenever we have one of these kind of meetings, I want you to have a face other than mine to look at and a voice to hear and know that that's who's overseeing these type of events. Everything that's going to get all of us together. And then, of course, actual recognition. Who's got a work anniversary coming up for their volunteer sign up? Who's got a birthday coming up? All that good stuff. Again, the party planner. Next up, we have volunteer connection lead. Now, all of us have worked with volunteer connection. It is, at times, to put it mildly, user unfriendly. However, it is not impossible. It just takes the time to sit down and actually learn it. And if you've ever gone on to Volunteer Connection and thought to yourself, no, I got this, or you just are quick at picking up these types of things, well, this could be you. This is going to be someone who knows the ins and outs of the Volunteer Connection website and all of the services they're in, because there is a lot that goes in. And Volunteer Connection is a massive hub that does everything from allow for mass emailing, private emailing, setting up shifts, events, all of this stuff. It's a pretty incredible website. It's just very cumbersome at the moment, and they're constantly refining it. So if you can stay on top of that, that's fantastic. This is also going to be someone who knows where to point new volunteers and existing volunteers in the right direction. Say they want to start taking some training and it's in an entirely new area. Well, this person is going to be the one who says, all right, you now want to be a spokesperson. Let me show you what training you need to do. All right, now we have the three primary roles of communications volunteering. First up, visual storyteller. This is our photographers and our videographers. Now, what I need from these people, believe it or not, photographic skill, as much as I want that, I also simply need to prioritize the ability to go out and be there. Can you be on site at an event? Can you follow the training for taking pictures in the Red Cross style, which sounds fancy, but really it means, don't take pictures of logos of third-party companies, no Superman S's, no Nike swooshes, that type of thing. Editing videos is going to be a big one this year. We're looking to boost up our video production, and this is going to come in two formats. The longer form stuff like you might find on our YouTube channel or Facebook, or it could be something that's more the quick vertical shots that you would see on Instagram stories, Reels, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. So if you have an eye for editing, if you're a very like non-linear type of person in the way you go about creative communications, this could be for you. We also have fortunately gotten in some new photography equipment. So if you really would like to try your hand at photography or filming, but you don't have all the high-tech fancy gear, we'll be able to set you up. All right. Next up is a writer blogger. This is someone who is got the short and long form articles down pat. This is one of those roles that it's going to be writing at its core in a lot of different ways. So again, I don't need a wealth of experience behind this. I just want the ability to learn as far as our specific style and to have that desire to really do it, to share those stories in the written word. Because sometimes this is going to take the form of a very short newsletter article. Sometimes this is going to be a lot of breathing room, and it can be very long form on a blog. If you have experience in writing, you'll know that those two types of stories are going to be crafted in vastly different ways. If that sounds like you, awesome. You're a writer blogger, and I'd love to work with you. I want somebody who's comfortable also with speaking to people to get their story. That's going to be interviewing for those clients that we've served and people in the community. Finally, we've got our digital volunteer. And there's a lot of hats on this one. This one might be the most difficult one that we have to recruit for. And that's because it's a webmaster, it's a social media content creator, it's a social media moderator, and occasionally it's a graphic designer. It's hard to get someone to step up as a digital volunteer at times because you're probably already noticing this. There's a lot of overlap. Someone who's a social media content creator, well, depending on what kind of content and what type of social media account it is, that sounds a lot like a writer. That sounds a lot like a photographer or a videographer. You're not wrong. It is a very specialized and specified format that I'm asking you to work with. So our visual storytellers might not do nearly as much of those social media specific outlets. Same with our writers. If you think you can do that, if you're someone who lives and breathes Instagram or Facebook or even LinkedIn, whatever it might be, we have something for you. And I really hope that you're out there. It also takes someone who has kind of a thick skin because, again, it's a hard role to convince people to take because in a lot of ways it's customer service, which is a terrifying thought if you've ever worked retail or food prep. There is a lot of feedback, let's call it feedback, that comes to us online. That can take the form of people who absolutely love us. It can take the form of people that absolutely hate us. Those who dislike us 99% of the time are simply misinformed or underinformed. And that thick skin comes into play when you write back in a way that just is like, thank you for reaching out. And then you, in the nicest way possible, course correct. Here are the facts of the situation and what we do and how we go about doing it. You've done something really good there. And you have to take a certain level of pride in that, because there's a very good chance that that person is like, I don't want to listen to your logic. I don't want to listen to how you explain things to me. I enjoy being mad and cranky, and they'll just continue to be horrible. The other aspect of this is, um, as far as moderating goes, just keeping an eye on our inbox. So when people reach out to us, can you direct them to the right place? If it's somebody who's like, I'm former military, I live here now, I need this. Well, can you connect them with our service to the armed forces? If it is very clearly a Russian bot that wants you to join their OnlyFans account, to delete that. So, however this works, it is an absolutely critical and important role. And I hope a few of you out there are willing to take this on, because I'm not asking you to shoulder everything, just a little bit, so that we can all pitch in and make this worthwhile and effective. Because I'm making it sound really bad, but 99% of the time, no problem. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. And it's another way that you can creatively tell a fantastic story. And there are a lot of fantastic stories to tell. Next up, we're going to get you gapped. What does that mean? Well, okay. Total transparency and honesty here. In the last 2 minutes, I have had a complete brain fog and I forget what GAP stands for. Something action plan. It is a standardized training set for disaster response deployment. So people will say, I want to help after something happens like the Lahaina wildfires. I want to help. The response will come back. What are you gapped to do? Now, being gapped is going through the appropriate classes that are set up by national. And by doing that, the organization as a whole is confident. All right, you now know what you're doing, and we can assign you officially to a disaster response. Not in the way of like, I could really use you taking pictures just off to the sides, unobtrusively, when you can, when you're not doing something else. That's what I can ask you in a disaster response, if you are not gapped for the specific position of public affairs communication in a disaster response. If you are, you can be deployed, you're read in on all of the information, and you're granted access to all of the places where we really need you to be. And that can be doing anything from, again, storytelling with words, storytelling with pictures, with videos, or by being at presence on social media that makes sure that the information that gets out there is as accurate as possible. So, deployment, that can sound really scary to a lot of people. When I first got brought on, they kept using this word, and I'd only ever heard it when it was applied to the military, and it kind of tripped me out. Like, wait, what are you going to have me do? Deployment happens at your availability, and I really want to stress that. So it can be you're deployed, but you never leave your apartment or your home or wherever you are. It could be you're deployed and you have to go to North Carolina. It could be any of these things. It all depends on what you do based on your availability and comfort level. If you say, I am 100% about being deployed, but I can really only do it in Hawaii or in Guam or in Saipan, wherever you are located, well, then that's fine. Just make sure that that availability is listed. If you are all about, yeah, I am I have family in the Gulf Coast, so I totally want to go over there and make sure that I can help everybody who's there. Well, then this is how you go about doing that. Now, there is a role that I didn't mention earlier on the previous slide because I want to talk about it here, and that is media relations. Locally, I can work with anybody here and just kind of give them the intros, the ins and outs of how to go about. This is how you create a story pitch. This is how you go about making nice with a reporter. And this is how, make sure you check in with them from time to time. This is how you build a relationship to make sure that they are comfortable calling you. And at any time you can be comfortable calling them for a mutually beneficial use of the local media. However, for something as intense and as serious as media relations and being a spokesperson, if you ever want to appear in front of the camera, in other words, if you ever want to organize the things that go on behind the camera, being gapped for that public affairs role is absolutely critical. In fact, it is required. So if that is something that you are interested in, that's fantastic. I am going to make that happen for you. Just be aware that it is a necessary step to make that happen. And just for context, the picture that we're looking at on this slide, this is in the blue shirt, that's Hawaii News Now. And I forget if they're both or if that's another TV station, the guy in the colorful shirt there. But speaking is Tony Briggs. He's our interim CEO, and he is also a nationally gapped spokesperson, which means that he isn't just okay to talk to local media. That means he's okay to talk to media if the media that's calling is Good Morning America or CNN or Fox News or anybody at that level. That's what you're training to be. All right. So that's just a little bit about getting gapped. I want to make sure that you know that that is available to you at any time. Just let me know that's something that you're interested in, and we'll move forward. We'll be talking more about this because I genuinely believe that a basic level gap for everyone is invaluable. It's just very important. And like I said, it doesn't mean you have to deploy. It just means that you have that training. And that is where I need everybody to be at. So putting all of this stuff into action, it's kind of light on this meeting, but in future ones, we're going to go pretty heavily on this slide, and that is upcoming campaigns. What's going on over the next 3 months? And right now, 3 months is going to take us all the way to November, which is a crazy thought. But the end of November is hurricane season. So we have that to look forward to, air quotes, look forward to, for the next few months. I need people to be ready for this, honestly. We are fortunate that they have predicted an average to lower than average season for storms developing. However, we are constantly being informed that there's something that could happen. There are developments in the weather that we are going to, and I'm sure you've heard this a lot, keep an eye on. So we need to be on our toes because once this happens and once everybody starts to get activated in any way, shape, or form, you got to be ready to be called on at any given moment because we call it hurricane season, but really this is the time of year where you get the wildfires and everything else. So if we're very lucky, we'll have some lead up time. We'll see the storm coming and we can prepare. If we're not, then we're looking at another situation like the wildfires where it is instant. So that's something to be aware of. I love being able to work with everybody here on blue skies to that capacity. Blue sky is a term that's going to be used throughout the Red Cross, or that already is used throughout the Red Cross to let you know that it's a nice day and nothing's really going wrong. Blue skies. Gray skies, as you can imagine, is the flip of that. Storms have rolled in metaphorically or literally, however you want to look at it. It is bad times. That is your disaster response. That's gray skies. So be ready for that, because once those kick in, documentation, pictures, and story collection will be critical. Stories and images that we collect are going to be pitched to local media, but also to national. And if it's if it is pitched to national, that means it could be on the American Red Cross website or Facebook page or Instagram or TikTok, or it could be that that is a story that is drawn upon for a story pitch that's sent out to, again, CNN, Good Morning America, shows like that. Over the next couple of months, we are going to have a focus on sound the alarm and home fire safety. This is normally done in the spring, early on in the year. And this year, it's really been pushed as being a 12-month year-round program. Sound the Alarm is still considered to be one focal month, and this year it's going to happen in October. Most of the events will be taking place on the island of Kauai. However, it's going to happen region-wide. So we need your help. For anyone who has not gone out on a Sound the Alarm visit, they're very easy. It's very welcoming. It's a fantastic way to just kind of ease your way into meeting people, talking to people about their story, and getting very easy levels of permission. May I take your picture? May I speak to you about X, Y, or Z? May I share your story? Sound the Alarm is one of the great events that allows you to learn how to do all of this stuff while already being on the job. It's fantastic. You go into a home or an apartment, there's a few people there whose job it is to go around and look at the different rooms, determine where smoke alarms need to be put up, or they go around and check the existing smoke alarms for functional batteries and placement, then replace those batteries, install new smoke alarms, or something along those lines. Then there's a whole period of time where you simply just talk to the homeowner or the resident, and you go over, what is your escape plan? What is this? What is that? Thank you for inviting us in today. What makes you want to have a smoke alarm from the Red Cross? And it could be anything of, oh, I just want to make sure that everything's safe, or I'm really sick of that beeping noise and I need somebody to change the batteries. Or you could get invited in for a story that just bowls you over. They could have a history of home fire impact that could leave you in tears, for all you know. One way or the next, it is a great way to learn and develop the skills for any of our roles, absolutely any of our roles. Then we also have in November, Giving Day. Giving Day is a way that we go about thanking corporate and community partners, whether that's the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement or Crazy Shirts. Maybe they donated some money or goods and services, or we partnered with them to make something happen. Giving Day is a way to focus on that. You say thank you to them. You talk about how this community is coming together. And the point of Giving Day is to inspire the people out there to give. It is a time where everybody kind of gets together. Those same corporate partners will often do donation matches, things along those lines. And it's a way for you to tap into the holiday spirit, to say thank you, and really get people as a call to action. Again, it's a very easy handoff. Way to convince people to donate when you have some incredible stories that come through from corporate and community partners. Again, a fantastic way to get your feet wet and attempt to hone the skills for absolutely any of the roles that we've talked about. Okay. Now, I am actually going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to, now that we've talked about all of this, I'm going a little bit out of order to talk about the big expectation that's coming from this meeting and that I want to keep moving forward. And that is whatever role you're in. I know on this call and watching this video, we've got a little bit of everybody. We've got writers, we've got visual storytellers. Fingers crossed that we have a digital volunteer or two out there. What I need is once a month to have one project completed as a deliverable. And what this means, that sounds like a big ask, perhaps, but I want you to keep this at a comfortable level and then grow as you get more practice, as you get more comfortable, and as more ideas pop into your head with experience. So say you are a writer. Well, that means once a month, I want to get from you a story of some kind. I would like a short form article that's maybe only 300 to 500 words long. If that's what you do and you decide, okay, there is a meet and greet event that's happening at headquarters, and it is an in-person one, so it's a youth club event and there's a bunch of stuff going on. I'll simply tell the story of what happened there. That's fantastic. And it can be very brief and very straightforward. If you decide that the journalism style that's right for that event is purely, this is a recounting of what we did, what the youth volunteers did, and what came of it all, that's fine. That's fantastic. If you decide to take a little bit of a twist on it and you go, I'm going to follow one particular person, find out why they decided to become a youth volunteer and what their favorite thing they learned is, or what they're most excited about being a part of, maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you start to write and you're like, oh man, I blew past 500 words. That's fine. Maybe what you're doing is a long form blog post. Keep going. Do not limit yourself. Do what you feel is right for the assignment, the project that you've taken on. Now, for some of these, I am going to reach out and say, hey, we have an event coming up. It's a yacht race where all of the participants are donating to the cause. I need you to be there to talk to people and get a sense of it and write about it. Or if you're the visual storyteller, go to this event, take pictures. It could be as simple as that. Take a few notes that make sure that, we have all the information. That's what I'm looking for. Visual storyteller, yeah, at an event, go take some pictures. You have an idea in mind for a video. That video is 30 seconds long, and it purely talks about how you only have 2 minutes to get out of your house if your home ever catches on fire. That's fine. That's great. That's what I'm looking for. Once a month, at least one project within the range of your role. If you're a digital volunteer, come up with one full week or 2 full weeks worth of social media posts, or set up a plan where it's like, from this time to this time, I am going to be checking in and engaging with people online. If someone writes, thank you and bless you for all that you do, you simply put a heart on that comment. Maybe you write back, hey, we're proud to be a part of this community. Thank you for being here. Whatever it might be, that's your deliverable. The point is once a month. And if everybody is doing something once a month, then you don't have to do all that much, but the amount of work that gets done for the department moves us forward exponentially. Now, because this is all very new, we're going to start this so that once a month deliverables, the first due date will actually be in October. So I will be meeting with everybody in the smaller groups and we'll go over some of these specifics, but I want you to start thinking about your role and what you can do to get those deliverables in. It's just a way that we're going to be able to rocket everything forward. I hate the notion of us having a bunch of talented people like you all are sitting around and waiting to just be like, well, what do I do? And me trying to catch up and going a mile a minute and completely drowning in everything because I'm under the mistaken opinion of maybe it's just faster for me to do it than to ask someone to do it. Regardless, I want to make sure that we're all moving forward, that we're all learning something new and producing quality content for the mission. Because what communications does, I think, is just obviously that's my job. I think it's very important. So, with that, just want to hit the summary. Know your role, whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to change that, or if you want to expand your knowledge, or if you need to step back a little bit, let me know as soon as possible, and I'm going to work with you to make it happen. I want nothing more than if you come to me and say, I was thinking about being a spokesperson. I think it might be kind of interesting. I like the idea of that. Great. I want to make sure that you're trained up. I want to make sure that you have that skill. I want to make sure that you can theoretically put that on a resume that will help you in every other job outside of your volunteer career. I want you to be ready to, again, complete that one deliverable every month. This is going to be important. And like I said, exponential output for the department overall. So keep all of that in mind. Now, I have already talked way longer than I meant to, and I apologize about that. What comes next? I am going to be editing this down a little bit, and I will be posting this video on YouTube. I'll keep it private, but basically, I want to have this up as just kind of the statement piece for, and I'll make a series. Like anytime we have one of these, I'll record them and put them up on the same playlist that you all will have access to. And the big reason is I just want to make sure that everybody who wasn't here tonight has access to the information that we went over. And that reminds me, for this event, please make sure that you log your hour for being here. I want to make sure that you get credit for that. Be just the least I can do for to say thank you for listening to me drone on for an hour is to make sure that you get credit for volunteering for this hour. So make sure you do that. And let's see, do we have anything in chat? All right. Well, I will end things there. Thank you all so much. I will be reaching out. We'll be setting up the role meetings here very shortly, and we'll go over a little bit more on deliverables in each one of those. Otherwise, if there is any questions that you have or ideas that you have for future meetings, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will be sending along a PDF of this presentation, and that way you'll have all the active links to our email, etc. So thank you all very much and have a good night.